Can we move that TV? All right, so we're gonna start with the Kahoot real quick. Just kind of wait for more people to come and just kind of warm up. Go ahead and join.
I did.
God, you're gonna die.
Remember, Hunter, I won the first one.
Okay. Are you gonna win the second one?
No. I'll let them have their chance.
Wait, you don't know the last question?
Yeah,
We just added.
I know that
We've
one.
never had that question.
Yeah, but I know it.
It's actually pretty useful. All right, there we go. Everybody in? All right.
Raise your hand if you're not in.
Wait, do we have people on the live stream that are?
No. We have one viewer.
That's my mom. All right, we'll get started.
Hey, 6 name with vitamin C.
Awesome. Join.
That's a sequel command. Yeah.
All right, D. Vitamin D.
Dude, are you serious? Oh god. I've seen it, but I don't know.
Thanks, Sean. All right. All right, vitamin C is in the lead.
What?
You all got scurvy or something.
Okay, you could be asking which OS. It doesn't specify. It doesn't specify it's Linux.
It's Linux.
Okay, now you know.
Or Unix. Thank you. Good job, guys.
JB Hammer Digital Forensics.
Ah,
Diamond.
cat. Nice. All right. Next one. I think the picture's on the wrong one. Awesome. Elliot.
It would have been funny if you guessed it. What did you do?
Awesome. Trick question.
I don't see. This one, it was English himself.
This is a hard one.
You gotta like himself.
Really
Especially for people that haven't seen Mr. Robot.
So Evil Corp is the one that he made up in his mind.
Yeah, he made it up.
He self-programmed himself. But that's not an actual corporation. Alright.
Good day, good time. Sean, you made it.
Hey, it's me.
Somebody got tricked.
Dude, I'm gonna kill
It was a really cute
I'm
dog.
gonna
It's
kill you,
understandable.
dude. I'm gonna
Vitamin
kill
C
you.
making the comeback. Oh.
Remember when Dr. Both HGFI?
The quality of that picture
Break
is so much better.
Nice job. We're actually presenting on this tonight.
The only thing that takes time is like
You're so smart.
I talked about this one.
Oh, you talked about it last time.
Last chance for flat soda.
Wait, just do them both at the same time now. Mix them.
I probably should
Awesome.
Take it down.
All right, last one.
Oh, he's typing. Oh, okay. He's typing the answers.
Measure those.
Yeah, I know, right?
No.
It's calcite. Actually, I kind of want to demonstrate that.
You should. Do it.
I gotta let up the beat.
Did you get it?
Drew, get it.
Click next.
Get it. Up there.
You know what? This is what we'll do. I'll say calcite, and that way we just. Yeah, just outputs a cow.
What if I wanted to output a dog?
You put dog say.
Okay. What about a blue whale?
Okay, so next we're gonna have Michael present on how he spoofed my email. If you were paying attention in the group chat, it's pretty interesting, pretty simple. It involves some PHP and web hosting. So here's Michael to explain it. Are you on the?
Yeah, I'm Mr.
You're on the Apple TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so about a week ago, I sent Hunter an email from himself. I said an email from you, and then as you see, it says it's from his email, H. Williams 2. And he freaked out. he reset his password to his email and was like freaking out because he thought maybe someone hacked in and
Do we have a photo of him freaking out?
No, it was
No.
like 2 a.m. in my bedroom.
Oh.
Can you show us how you freaked out?
yeah, come demonstrate how you freak on.
Recreate it.
Yeah. Okay. No. So I'll show you how I did that. So it was actually pretty simple. I signed up for a free web host called from 00 Web Hosts, and basically what they gave me is they gave me a website and a email server that I could send emails from. So what I did is I found some PHP code online. Now, I don't really know PHP too well, but it was only 20 lines of PHP. So basically, PHP has a mail function, and all it needs is just your basic parameters like the from, like who it's from, the name, the email it's from, who it's going to, the subject, and the message. And then here's the email headers that it actually looks like it's coming from someone. So as you see here, this is the header, and that's how I formatted it. So it shows Hunter that it came from me. And I'm gonna demonstrate how that works too. So here I filled out the form to actually send an email for my website. So I'm gonna be sending myself an email from Hunter, and then the subject is I'm Hunter and I have coronavirus. Okay, so all I have to do is press send, and it says mail sent, and then I go to check my email. Oh look, there it is, Hunter. I have coronavirus, and see, it even grabs his profile picture, so it looks legit. You could do that with anyone's email in
Wait, so it sent
Maryville.
it to you also?
No.
It's only sent it to me.
Oh, okay.
He didn't send it to himself.
But I didn't send anything. So
No.
that's really scary. 'Cause
Yes.
I didn't send
So
anything.
I could pretend to be anyone at Maryville and send anyone else an email.
So it's only that works in the network, right?
No, it works whatever email.
So we could spoof like I am Bill Gates at BillGates.com.
Not my.com.
Yes, you can spoof any email you want. Gmail is a little more strict though. Like it says it's coming from a 00 web host or something, so it doesn't look like it's actually coming from Maryville, but Outlook doesn't have that, so it's even more scary. Yes. So if you guys want to send a spoof email, send Hunter.
Can you show us the header in there?
Yeah.
Or is that
Can I
not
do it through the app?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if I could actually.
I don't
I
think
think
so.
it's
Yeah.
on the left side, or it's.
3 dots in, no, not those 3 dots, the other down.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my email.
Yeah.
But I didn't send it.
No, but that's not the full
But
header.
no, it's not the full header. I need like the desktop app.
Okay.
But if you actually look at the email headers, it says it's coming from a different website, my web host.
The scary thing though is most people wouldn't
Yes.
know to check that.
Yeah, you're
So
not gonna go check it.
If you're not in cyber and this happens to you, that's scary.
Yeah, it's very scary.
Could you show the website back?
Yes.
He wants to grab the code real quick.
Yeah.
It doesn't show the subdirectory that it's in, so you aren't gonna be able to get to it. Well, maybe.
Don't tell them.
Yeah.
So you can DOS this. And,
Okay, yeah.
It goes down after like 10,000.
So actually, funny story.
Could you show me the?
Funny too.
I want to see the script.
I'll go back over the script too.
thanks.
So I got this email from
It's
my.
on live stream.
Yeah, you can look at it on live stream too. I got this email from my web host that my site has been suspended, my old one. And it wasn't because I was sending spoofing emails. They had no clue. What it was actually suspended for is that, if you know Kyle, I let him brute force the directories using a program called Dirbuster. So I gave him the first part of the website, the Squalling Harpoons, and I told him that there's a hidden PHP directory so you can send mail, and I let him go at it. So I ended up getting 432,075 requests from only 5 unique IP addresses. So that means only 5 people contributed to those 430,000 requests. And that was basically, so I want to say it's all Kyle, but I did it too. But it did get taken down after Kyle did it. And that's basically it. The PHP code was just the PHP mail function. And then it had an HTML form that it connected to, so I could actually fill it out and customize it. You're taking a picture.
I make sure you mention a disclaimer that I should not use this for malicious.
Yes, you should not use this for malicious.
Oh, don't worry. I'm just gonna mess around with my boss.
Oh boy,
That's a good idea.
you mess with your ex
Okay.
boss.
No, my boss right now.
He's going to be your Xbox.
Hunter.
I mean, I'm pretty sure she's gonna love it.
So yeah, so that's like really scary. That like I said, if somebody's not technically know-how and they have an email from their friend or their professor saying, you know, you failed the class, don't come to class anymore, you could wreak havoc with it, right? Not to give you any ideas. But next we're gonna have Andrew present on NMAP. and kind of what we can use it for, and, just the general what it is.
Something that's happened in the real world. I don't know if you guys have heard, but like recently, who's the woman on Shark Tank?
I don't know.
The lady.
Yeah, she's like
The lady.
yeah. So she wire transferred a hacker $430,000 because they said they sent her an email spoofed from her accountant and said, "Hey, we need to pay this construction company for whatever construction they're doing." And she's like, "Well, I didn't think anything of it because." I'm in the construction, I'm in the real estate business. And that turned into she lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because someone spoofed that email address and sent her an email requesting to pay this vendor. Big air quotes. I don't know if she got
That
it.
was her decision, so it's not going against.
Like, oh, it's-
Yeah.
I go against.
Also, if you like transfer it to like an offshore account, then what are they gonna do?
Yeah, you can get one
We
back.
put it through our five
Thanks
shell
for the idea,
corporations.
So what's that protection?
Don't wire transfer money.
Yeah.
Have you unplugged and plugged it back?
No, but
Verify it.
It's such a stick.
Reply to the person who spoofed and say, "Did you really send this?"
Only
They
pay
say
people
yes.
in cash.
Well, no, because when you
Can't go
reply,
back.
it's gonna reply to the person, the actual person. It's not gonna reply to the spoofer.
Unless you say, like, I'm going to use my personal email because I'm on vacation. Email me at this.
So there's.
Hunter, you shouldn't be giving them ideas.
Anyway, NMAP.
Don't use this for
Zenmap.
malicious intent.
There is a disclaimer on this, luckily.
All right, so I'm Andrew, and I'm presenting on NMAP and Zenmap, and this is kind of a follow-up to my Wireshark demonstration. And all right, so here's my disclaimer, which is what Sean was talking about. Don't use any of this for malicious intent. Yeah, basically a disclaimer for the school, so we can't get in trouble for this. Yeah. All right, so first of all, what you need to know for NMAP. So some of the common ISP ports. So 25 is simple mail transfer protocol. So first of all, that is sending and receiving emails without actually downloading it onto your system. So like Gmail, Outlook, that sort of thing. And that's how your computer receives emails from the servers. All right, and then the second one, HTTP, which is port 80. So that one is that is just regular plain text internet traffic. So if you were to just type in google.com, it would just show, if someone were to intercept that traffic, it would just show them what your traffic is in plain text, no encryption, security, none of that whatsoever. All right, and then for 443, it's essentially upgraded and more secure HTTP transfer protocol. And so that has the added SSL and TLS. So there's the encryption, so you can't just read and intercept what people's traffic is. And then for 445, that's SMB over IPs. And then 20 and 21 kind of go together. They're both file transfers. So for 20, it's forwarding and transferring data between two machines, basically sending them out. And then for 21, it's regulating and basically having the controlling the flow of data between the host and the receiving computer. And then for 23, Telnet, this is actually one of the ones that this is really outdated. You do not want this one open. It's what a lot of vulnerabilities are based on, because a lot of people have it open and they don't know it. And it essentially establishes a connection between the server and the remote computer. This is what they used to use in the past as opposed to SSH, but SSH has sort of evolved and taken over to be a better version of Telnet. And Telnet is what a lot of people use for vulnerabilities. And once you want to run a vulnerability scan, and if your Telnet is open, you want to close that immediately. That is a huge red flag on your network. And then for 22, SSH is the remotely connected to a remote server or host. And that is the much more secure version of Telnet. So a lot of people usually have that open because it's more secure and it's not really a vulnerability. And then for 53, so a DNS or domain system link. So this is your computer requesting outward to another place. So it goes from your computer typing in google.com, goes to the IP address. Once it gets to the IP address point, that IP address is translated to the domain that you're actually trying to get to, and the IP address is translated in that domain, and then it sends a signal back to your computer and connects you to that IP based on that domain. All right, so then what is NMAP? NMAP is an abbreviation for Network Mapper. It's an open source tool, meaning that anyone can use it free of charge and use it for whatever purposes they need to, and used for network administrators to scan networks in their ports, usually for vulnerability scanning, as I mentioned previously, with checking what ports are open, that sort of thing, what vulnerabilities your network may possess, and utilizes multiple protocols, so the TCP transmission control protocol, and then UDP. UDP is mainly transmitting data, and once you send that data, you don't get a request back or anything back. It's just out there. You can't take it back. And then TCP is sort of like a handshake. You send it out, and then the data still comes back to your computer. All right. And then for the other one, Zenmap. Zenmap is the graphical interface for NMAP. It is a bit easier than NMAP. You don't have to use Unix command line or Linux command line, and easier to interpret and understand for users not well versed in command line, which you all are because of Bandit. And it basically able to show the graphical differences between different scans, and you can run the same scan multiple times without having to retype in the commands or anything like that. It's just a more simplified version of understanding NMAP. Let me pull that up. All right, so first of all, you want to boot up terminal in Kali, and first thing you want to do, obviously, is type nmap space, and then I'm going to explain what my commands are over here. So first of all, SV, you want to do that after the nmap. That is probing open ports to determine service or version info. This is established on the server, so establishing what version of software they're using, that sort of thing, and when the last time it was updated. And then the next one, version detection, is what type of version, what type of hardware they're running, if any scripts are running, that sort of thing. And then for the O is OS detection, if they're running Windows Server, a form of Linux server, Unix. And then back to SV, I forgot one thing, is probing open ports to determine kind of like how the server is doing. All right, so to do this, it's nmap space. All right, and then I'm going to explain one thing. So that IP address right there, that actually is the one that is tied to the server back in the back of the room over there. And so the reason I did the 24 because IP addresses are 32 bits, so that's 32 essentially chunks long. And so for the 24, we only want to focus on the actual network because the last 8 of the 32 are actually like tied to a certain device. So like if my phone was connected to that, my phone would have a certain set of numbers for the last 8 tied to my phone and that server. So we only want to look at the actual network traffic. Then that'll take a few minutes. And if you guys want to follow along, you can. This will be uploaded later, so you might want to follow along on the stream if you're able to.
Should that be .0/24? Because isn't 4U or U4?
And 0.
Because you're .4. You want to scan the whole network. That whole subnet, yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
You're good.
You were 90% done. So the reason I said that, just to kind of explain to people who are following along, because the 10.0.2 part of that, .0, 10.0.2 network is the Wi-Fi. That .2 is actually the Wi-Fi router. And so the .4 part is Andrew. Someone else who's connecting to that Wi-Fi might be like .5 or .100 or whatever the router decides to assign. It's DHCP is the word I was looking for, Dynamic Hosting Configuration Protocol. So DHCP assigns an IP address to the people who connect to, or the devices that connect to it. So 0 is like the base, and then everything above that are devices.
All right, and then essentially NMAP, this is almost always used in almost any IT field. So it's usually network administrators. It's basically used with the upkeep of almost everyone's network. So you want to run this constantly. Whenever you update your network, install new hardware, software, that sort of thing on your network, you want to do that to keep the ports that I listed previously closed. Like, for example, the telnet port, you want to keep that closed. Even when you update, it might change the settings around. You want to run an NMAP scan after you run an update to make sure that it's still closed, that sort of thing. Sure, this is almost done.
Did you get it to tell you how far done it was?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot to address that. All right, so you basically, you click C and then enter while it's still scanning, and then that produces the how much percentage it has and how many minutes time you've left to actually finish.
So like the stealth scan is, the SYN stealth scan timing is like the standard one, and then the service scan is the SV.
Goodness.
Yeah.
It's probably because the IP changed.
Try like .1 or something.
Because mine sounds quick.
Yeah, just do the one you had before.
Yeah.
Do like arrow key.
Is this podcast?
Yeah, so it is open source, so it does have
You have to play around.
you have to play
Yeah.
around.
Because sometimes, usually when that error happens, you have to restart your VM, that sort of thing.
Maybe like .1 would be better than .0. No, leave it.
Update it. Constantly update. Oh, 92% done.
Most, okay.
That's for the stealth scan.
First.
So these take a long time, especially if you're doing more in-depth scans of, say like large enterprises that have thousands of IPs, hundreds of ports that open. It's really something you just leave on in the background while you do other things. So like if you're doing, say you're in a CTF, this is kind of one of the first things you run is an NMAP scan to see what ports are open, what IPs are exposed. And because it takes a while, that's kind of what you do first, and then you leave in the background while you try other tools like Metasploit or do like a Nessa scan or Burp Suite, try something else. And then you kind of come back to this, and this helps you find leads to try to pick at. So like say, like Andrew said, Telnet's really vulnerable. If we go to Telnet, if we see that Telnet is open, that's a lead for us to exploit that system and get the flag. So that's why this is really important for CTF competitions, is that it's a really good tool for reconnaissance.
And actually, Hunter was talking to me earlier about some honeypots that certain groups put out. They're usually on that Telnet port or through SSH. Yeah. And so they'll do that as sort of like a lure, and if that's open, then they'll get into your system with those 2 ports.
Yeah, because Telnet's basically a meme at this point. It's like if you see Telnet, most people know about it, so you generally know it's a honeypot. Because think about it, if somebody makes like a web crawler or just a crawler on the internet that looks for Telnet, there's well-known exploits for Telnet. So people have crawlers, and that's kind of the point of setting up a honeynet or a honeypot, which is something we'll probably end up doing in the future. Is just setting up a honeypot that's open to the internet to see what kind of creepy crawlers try to get in. So what are you looking for, Andrew?
Oh, here it is. Yeah,
Okay.
here's who it was. Okay, so here's what I was looking for. So I was looking for the out of the 1,000 ports that I forgot to mention. NMAP usually has like a default list of 1,000 ports that are commonly kind of exploited, opened, closed, the most like modified, that sort of thing. Even though there's over 60,000 total ports, NMAP kind of condensed that into a list of 1,000 that are most commonly exploited, open, that sort of thing. All right, so here, as you can see, port 135, 445, and 3,306. So for 3,306, that's actually MySQL. So if you hear about in the news SQL injection attacks, that is usually what they're modifying. They're modifying a database and injecting data into that database that is not supposed to be there. And so that is actually not good for that to be open, because that is open for SQL injection attacks. And yeah.
Then port 445, I believe, is SMB, which is well known as a very exploitable protocol, especially like ransomware. Ransomware likes to travel over SMB. There's a lot of real world scenarios that abuse SMB. I mean, it's just an open file transfer protocol, so of course it's got a lot of dirty things associated with it. And then I think 135 is another remote. Can't remember what RPC is, but it's most of these ports that have Microsoft on them are generally exploitable because they are used for services and protocols that are very exploitable. So that's always a good thing to see. Generally, if you do a port scan, what looks good is port 80 and port 443, because that just tells you that they're open to web traffic. Usually that's what most corporations are. That's all they have open because it's very small, it's easy to handle. So it's like, say you're on a CTF and you see these open. These are our leads, right? So we see 135, so we're going to look up exploits for RPC, exploits for SMB, exploits for MySQL. And we kind of move on from there.
Is it
Dang.
for MySQL they use the state signs 1 equals 1?
Yeah, so that's more like SQL injection.
Next slide.
So it's
Just making sure that's what.
yeah, that's the kind of the same.
Did you just exploit your phone?
Is it 1 equal 1 you're using?
Or is this just display?
Did you root it? All right, are you good?
all right, yeah,
Can you, here, wait, let me do something real quick.
yeah, sure.
So instead of just like telling you what to do,
No, you're good.
I'm just gonna go in here. One thing I noticed was in this, we didn't get any information on either of these. So,
verboses.
so one thing you can do to add to your flag, your SV flag, it's looking for a version, right? So it's looking for something, it's looking for a service version. So you can go -- version all, and it'll actually, there's 9 levels of intensity. All is the most intense. So it'll keep trying to find more information, and it'll give you more information about the version. I got rid of the -O and the -A because the A does OS and service fingerprinting, and then the O just does OS fingerprinting. And well, we already got that. You saw it was running Linux 2.6, so we don't need to see that again. Cool. So that should maybe give us a little bit more information, but if it doesn't, that's something that you can look into. There's 9 levels of version that give you more like information about what's actually running on those ports. So
That's actually really important though for CTFs.
because a lot of times they'll like hide their information because NMAP's pulling like headers. So it'll hide. So NMAP will go to it and ping it with a different request, and it'll have a different response. And so with those different responses, it'll say, oh, this is the service. We're able to deduce more about the service. So the version all gives it the most intensity, which could be bad if you're pinging a server that has if you're pinging something that has like a lockout. If you like ping it 5 times, it'll block you out. Well, that's bad for us as hackers because then we can't access it anymore. It blocked our IP address. Then we got to spoof our IP and try it again. So version all is really good if you know that there's no firewall or anything blocking you, but it's really bad if you have any hint that there's a firewall.
Yeah, and I think I forgot to say it earlier, but the way NMAP essentially checks if certain ports are open and closed, it sends out a barrage of data to each of the ports, and then depending on what the information that the program gets back, that's how it determines if the ports are open or closed, and usually this is used to report to companies, this is how you need to fix your network, that sort of thing. All right, so the version all query, it's almost done.
Watch, it's going to be the same.
I swear to God. It will be.
So last night I'm doing Hack the Box, and I set up an NMAP scan with a lot of different flags and the highest intensity OS scan and the highest intensity version scan. And I was watching a movie while it was going on. I started at the beginning of the movie and went to bed like an hour after the movie was done. And it was still running.
Imagine
Like
doing that
3-4 hours.
Imagine doing that on like the entire internet or like an enterprise, a corporation.
Yeah, that was just one IP address that I was scanning. Just one.
Just one?
Just one IP address. I was scanning every port though, so I did all 65,535 ports. So that's why it was taking so long, because I was individually scanning every single port with the highest version intensity.
All right.
Something happened here.
Yeah.
Whatever. You guys,
All right,
I gotta move on.
All right.
All right, time for the meat and potatoes. Bandit.
Let's go.
I like to
I want to
see
see
it.
that.
Get your carbs up.
Upload it. Gonna have to load it.
So we got a couple new faces here. I understand you guys aren't caught up with Bandit yet. If you go to let's see, go to overthewire.org and you go to the war game. Aren't caught up with Bandit yet. If you got it, all right. So if you go to overthewire.org and you go to the war game section right here and you do Bandit, there's a whole long list of levels, and these levels will teach you Unix command line and really how to navigate it in the terms of cybersecurity. So like if we go to like level 0 to 1, it's asking us to open a file. You kind of get from that like listing out directories, opening files, and then you kind of get down here and it's asking you to do some crazy stuff. But we've kind of gone through them incrementally. We do a kind of a walkthrough. That way, if anybody's stuck, they're kind of familiarized and caught up with everybody. So we'll go ahead and start on Bandit level 10. Give me a second to get this set up. We're on 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So from 11 to 12. I gotta go grab the password real quick because I don't have it written down. Boo me, I know.
Boo.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to put that in there. All right, so now we're in the box or their server. We SSH'd into it, not telnet, because SSH is what we use nowadays because, we're civilized. So first time I open get into a machine, I always do ls to list out the files that are in the directory. If you don't see anything, you can do ls-a, and that gives us all the hidden files. This is useful in some of the bandit levels. Hold on. We were on the wrong one. All right. All right, now we're in. Okay, so yeah, so we'll do ls. We see that it's data.txt. We go ahead and cat data. And we see that's just a bunch of hex. So this is a hex format. This is the whole thing that was the XXD that turns it into it. So what we can do is we can do file data, and then file data.txt. And it tells us that it's AC, so it's text. And so go ahead and one of the things that you have to deal with Bandit is you need to make your own directory to manipulate files sometimes. So what we'll do is we'll do mkdir to make a directory. You always have to put it in the temp file. I think this ends up clearing out. I'll just do something I can remember. 99. All right. So we've made that directory in Bandit on their server. And we'll just go ahead and cd it. So that cd is change directory. So we're changing our directory to temp and then H. Williamson 99. And we should see that we have our directory now. And now we just need to go back and do cp data.txt to /tmp. All right, so that copies that file. So cp is copy. We say we want this file, we're going to put it in this directory. So we're going to go back to our directory. We see that it's there. So we're going to do xxd. So this is our hex function. Reverse is -r. So this is our flag. We're going to choose data.txt. And we're going to turn it into data2.txt. We're going to say cat data2. And it's not coming out because it's zipped. So we'll do file data2. So this is really important for anything that's zipped. File is to see which type of format it's zipped in. So here we see that it's gzip2 or gzip compressed data. So that tells us we need to use gzip to decode it. And then another stipulation that we have to pay attention to is the extension on the end. So if you look on here, it says data2.txt. So this is reading in a text file. We need to convert it or change just that format after to gz. So that way the computer knows that we're selecting it as a gzip file. So to do that, we can do move, which is also replace. And we'll do data2.txt and just do data2.gz. So we see that it's red. This tells us that it's zipped. and we'll go ahead and run gzip on it as gzip. And if you have trouble not knowing what's what, you can always do -h after the command, and that will give you a quick guide on the commands that you can use. So here we see that -d is decompress, so we want to decompress it, right? So we'll do gzip -d data2 -.gz. So we're using gzip to decompress our gzip file, and it does what it does. And now we're left with data2. So it automatically converted it from that .gz to an unknown format. So we'll do file data2, and it tells us it's bzip2. So now it's just another compression, and it's zipped in. So we'll go bzip2. Oh, first we'll take. So we see that we have data2. So it doesn't have any extension on the end. So we have to pay attention to that. So we're going to go ahead and MV it. So we're going to move it to a different extension. So we're going to say data2, and then data2.bz2 is the extension for bzip2. You might just have to Google that to figure out what that zip program's extension is. So now we have bzip2. It's red because it's zipped up, and it recognizes that it's a file format. So we'll type bzip2 -d data2.bz, and we'll go ahead and ls, and we see that we have data2 again. It's outputted the file. It's cut off that extension and it's decompressed it. So we'll go ahead and do file data2 again. It tells us it's gzip, so it's kind of running us in a circle just for the moment. We'll go ahead and create, put that .gz on the end of data2 to get it to recognize. And with ls, we see that it's data2.gz, gzip, -d. And after a couple times, you get pretty fast at it. And now we have data2 again. And now it's a tar. And when I first saw it, I was like, what's tar? Is this like tar in your lungs? I really don't know. So we can do a tar. You have to use a special command in tar. So you have to do tar-h. Oh, sorry. tar-help. This is kind of the manual on how to use tar. So tar is kind of like gzip and bzip2, except it's more archiving instead of compressing or zipping. So the command we want to use, or the flag we want to use actually, is xvf. So x, if we find it, is extract. So we want to get out of archive. Then we want v, so we want verbose. So we want it to tell us what file it is. And then f, go ahead and find it. F is, so we want to use archive file. So we're telling it archive, right? So go down to the bottom, we'll do tar-xvf data. Oh, first, we got to pay attention to the file extension. So if we look, we have data2, right? So this is useless to us. So we'll remove data2, data2.tar, and then we'll do tar dash, and like we went through the flags, we need x, v, and f. So, extract, and then we want information about it. And we'll do data2.tar, and that tells us, because we put a v flag in there, that our new archive is data5.bin. So if we go and do file data5.bin, it tells us another tar. So we all right. So what we'll do is we'll figure out what it is, data2.tar. But it's not data2.tar. So tar doesn't play nice in the sense that it doesn't delete the previous file. So we have to be mindful of where the file is. So we know it's data5.bin. So we're going to start using 5 to identify which one we're currently on. So we'll go ahead and move data5.bin to data5.tar. And then we'll run the tar command again on 5. And it tells us on data 6. So we'll just keep going through its little maze. Oh, hold on. Might have messed that up. Okay, so data5.tar, and then tar-xvf, data5.tar. Now we're on data 8, and this is, I'm pretty sure, the last one. Yeah, so then it takes us to gzip again. And this is probably the most pain level. Usually after this, they give you the answer right away. But I think they're just trying to accomplish is making you aware of that extension on the end, and also aware of the various compression and archival programs such as gzip, bzip2, and tar. So we'll go ahead and gzip -d data. Oh, like I said, we got to pay attention to the file extension. And data.gz. So now we have our gz file. It's right there. We're going to gzip it. You can see the pain on my face after this.
Okay, because there's no light.
There's no light. That's good. Can't see my tears. All right, so now we have data 8. So I'm going to do file data 8 and see what kind of file this is. Thank goodness it's an ASCII file. I mean, we know it's a password. So we're going to cat data 8. And cat is just concatenate, so it means to just print out the text. All right, so our password is this hash. All right, so 13. So now we're on 13. So 13 is telling us that the password for the next level is stored in this directory and can only be read by bandit 14. For this level, we don't get the next password, but we're going to use the SSH key to log into it. So so we're going to hop out of 13, and we're going to go to 14, or hop out of 12 and go to 13. Got the password, so now we're in ls. There's our SSH key. So this is actually really useful. So like if you're trying to get into GitLab, you'll have to go through this process. Or I know at work, we have to use SSH keys like this to be able to access the very boxes we have around St. Louis. So the command we can use for this is SSH, and we're going to go to help. So we need to use the flag -i, which is our identity file. So this tells SSH to use this this key to give us access to this next box. So you can password protect this, but this is sort of like a password token. So you can distribute this to people, and they can log into your box. So go ahead and exit real quick. SSH. Oh, no, hold on. So we have to be in bandit. And we'll do SSH-i. And so we're saying we want this key. So we'll put in the key. And then we're going to say bandit. So this is who we're trying to log in as. @ localhost. So because we're already on the server, we can say we just want to come back into the server in a different, as a different user. So we can say localhost. We don't need to specify any network. It's going to ask us a quick question. And now we're in. So we use that key using the -i file to be able to access the next server. So that was our password, basically. Like I said, you can password protect this. But say you're on a job and your coworker needs access to it, you can always use that key instead of sending out a password. That kind of gets in a lot of key exchanging protocols and a whole lot more fun. So like I said, we always do LSA, ls-a. I don't really see anything. Let's go look at the instructions. So the password for the next level can be retrieved by submitting the password of the current level to port 30,000 on localhost. So 14. So what we can do is, I believe on a previous bandit level, it lets us know where the passwords are stored. So if we go to, if you see on my notes up here, yeah. It's in the etc etc directory under bandit pass and bandit 14. So because we are in bandit 14, that's unlocked. It's free to read. So we can go grab that password and submit it through Telnet. So it wants us to use Telnet. I know we're not supposed to, but we're gonna because it's fun. So cat etc bandit pass and bandit 14. Okay, so there's a password, and we'll just go Telnet. Let me copy it real quick. I go Telnet, localhost. So we're going to Telnet into localhost on port 30,000. And so it's just going to straight up just connect to it. It's going to ask us for a password. We're going to submit the password, and it's programmed to automatically return the password for the next level. So we'll go ahead and exit out of this, I believe. Let's see. All right, so we're kind of getting where everybody got stuck. It's this. Did you guys get stuck on this one, or was it the next one? Next one. So we'll run through this one real quick. We're on 14. We're on 15. Okay. Oh, I messed up. All right. So now we need to use OpenSSL. OpenSSL is just another way to connect, kind of like SSH. We use the S client program. So it's just kind of its own language to connect. So like if we go OpenSSL, so you can see like there's client, there's server, there's time. There's a whole lot of options you can use in OpenSSL. So these like different encryption types. It's really kind of like your certificates. It's HTTPS. It's that kind of SSL. So we'll do OpenSSL, and we're going to connect as a client. And we're going to go to localhost. We're going to go on port 30,001 because it's specified on the instructions. Oh, I have a dash. It's dash. There you go.
Do dash connect.
Oh, I think I might have messed up my notes. Okay. So I actually want to go back real quick, and if we can show the commands. Yeah. So there's multiple commands that you can use. So you can use like keys, ciphers, tickets, any. This is kind of, it's a whole suite of protocols and connection capabilities. So we'll just connect to localhost on port 30,001. And it's going to ask for a password, and we'll go ahead and put the password that we got. Here's my cheat sheet. All right, so there's our next password. And now we'll go to the one that everybody was stuck on. Hopefully we can help you guys be able to figure this one out. So did we exit out of all of them, or are we still in the new bandit?
I think we exited out.
We exit out, okay. I can't remember. Didn't want to. All right, so we'll SSH into, we're on 16.
Yeah.
Oh,
160.
that comes later.
So high level.
It actually asks for a password, which was. All right. So yeah, so we're in 16. Always ls out of habit. So the credentials for the next level can be retrieved by submitting the password of the current level to a port on a local host. So local host is we're already on the server, and it's the ports range 31,000 to 32,000. So first we need to find out which of these ports have a server listing. So we need to use an NMAP scan like we talked about earlier, and we need to find out which one is SSL, which one speaks SSL. So yeah, in doing it, I've found there's two servers, and I believe if you send it, like it says in the instructions, if you send it to the wrong one, it kicks you back. If you send it to the right one, it gives you the password. So we'll go ahead and
You didn't copy it. The NMAP command.
Is there any way you can? It's kind of hard to see on that screen.
oh man, it is. So
Is there any way you can do like get out of dark mode on your terminal?
yeah, I can. Let's zoom it in.
Here, I got you.
Oh yeah. I'll get on. That doesn't help.
Maybe we did like.
Is it 0?
I was thinking like the background. If you make the background. That's probably fine. There you go. That works.
So we don't have the NMAPs.
It's not a hard command. You can do it, Hunter.
I got you.
You got me.
Yeah.
I'm just
So just
on the spot right now.
a lot of people are just mapping and they're running it into a problem.
Hold on.
So
Hold on. That's messed up.
screen text.
Yeah. All right.
You have to go back to.
Yeah, you're a bandit. You need to get back into bandit.
All right.
Wrong password, sir.
Here's your cheat sheet. It's working perfect.
Yeah, that's 15, dude.
No, it should be. Oh, I guess not. I think I just got my cheat sheet mixed up, honestly.
That's smart to put it in.
So you're gonna have to NMAP ports 31,000 to 32,000. So an easy way to do this to save time is just do, what you're doing. Just do a regular NMAP on those ports.
Is it localhost?
Yeah. So that goes really quickly, just finds the open ports, and then now you can just focus on the services that are on those ports. So you can do your -P and then do those two ports separated by a comma. 31,518, comma, and then the other one. So that way you're not doing 1,000 ports with services.
There was a flag.
Yeah, your flag after that, just up it. Here, I know the flag. It's SV.
Okay, that's what
Yeah, just up there, and then do space at the end. Right there, space, lowercase s, capital V. You're gonna have to put the IP address.
Pulled it, Andrew.
So just somewhere in there, put TAC SV.
Guys, everybody, NMAP is hard.
There you go. So now it'll just focus on those. Well, you did 1,000 ports, so Control C.
Thank you for coming.
Control C out of that, so you don't do 1,000 ports. Make sure you're specifying those 2 ports so you can spend an hour.
Hey, we got an hour. He's like, nah. 158. Three one nine seven nine zero.
That way you're focusing on those 2 ports and not 1,000.
Yeah, I should have had it in my notes, but I just forgot.
Sir, take better notes.
The joy of NMAP. Damn, is it running? Let me just do. It's still running.
You could just cancel it since we already know which 2 based off that first command instead of waiting here however long it's going to take.
I'll find the other one. Alright. So,
You could just try to SSH to both of them.
so what happened? Well, I need to show like what happened. Okay, yeah. So, well, no, there's a. No, you do a open SSL.
Oh, your SF, yeah.
Yeah. Client. And then it has us do. So yeah, we're just gonna try to connect to it. And then we're going to call it localhost because we're on the same computer. And then we're going to do port 31970. So 90. Okay. So yeah. So what we did was we used NMAP to scan those 2 ports. We found those 2 ports, and we kind of guessed here. We just picked one at random, and we used OpenSSL to be able to connect to it. And once we were able to connect through S-Client, through -connect, we echoed the password to it. It accepted it and gave us the RSA key. So what you do is you'll go ahead and copy this RSA key. We'll go ahead and make a directory in the file, and then call it whatever you want. I'm running out of numbers. So we'll just CD to that. Okay, so we're in here, there's nothing in there. And we'll go ahead and do touch. So touch basically like creates the file. And we're gonna call it sshq.private. Now we have this says sshq.private. We'll cat it just to prove that it's empty. And we'll go ahead and use something called Vim, which is a text editor. Vim is used very widely, especially with Linux. It's just really quick. There's lots of shortcuts that can be used. So,
And if you don't know them, you can't leave.
yeah, you got to memorize all like 10,000 of them. So we'll go ahead and do. If you're at this stage, I would just copy this to like a text editor like I have. Just makes it easier to manage and be able to tell what you have copied. So I'll go ahead and Vim into it. This is Vim. So Vim is kind of like a self-contained program inside of the terminal. So there's lots of little commands you'll have to learn. The ones we'll be using today is W and Q. So to be able to say a command, you have to do colon. This says command. And then if we do W, it's write. So it writes whatever we have in the file to that, the file in the directory. And then Q is quit. We can also do colon WQ to write and quit. So save and quit. So I'm going to go ahead and paste the RSA key in there. And it looks broken on the top, so I'll go ahead and fix that. Over here. All right, so it's really important that you have the beginning and the end of the RSA private key, or else it will not take it. I've ran into this problem personally. So we'll go ahead and save it. So we'll do colon. So there's insert mode. So this can be toggled by using I and escape. So say we're escape, so we're just out in Vim. If we want to do I, this is how we edit text without shortcuts. So this is like just a regular keyboard. Escape gets out of it. And then to write it and quit it, we'll do WQ. And we'll go ahead and press enter. And it would have written the key to our SSH key.private file. So we'll go ahead and cat SSH to just show you that it's in there. All right. So now, I think a lot of how a lot of you got in trouble was there was like a file permission error. So if you find one of the walkthroughs, it tells you to basically change the file permission for it. So we'll go ahead and chmod, which is changes the permissions of it. And the code we want to use is 600. And we'll go ahead and select the SSH key.private. And this changes the permission, allowing us to use it as we need. I think that, like I said, I think this was a bug or a mishap because it was not mentioned in the instructions. So we'll go ahead and do.
Does 600 make it? You can use it as any user.
I believe so. We can,
It might just be because you're not a
yeah.
root user on that. So
Yeah, they change it like every level.
oh, great site. Oh.
There we go. So 600 means the owner can read and write. So we're giving ourselves read-write permissions. It probably just had read permissions or no permissions at all. So now we can send it, we can use it. So we'll go ahead and use this key like we did earlier, right? So it was already made for us. We made it ourselves now. So we'll go ahead and SSH. We're going to go use the I to be able to grab it. We'll grab the key, and then we'll try to get into bandit 17. And now we're in bandit 17. Cool. Sasha, did you get that? No? Okay. But you kind of understand that how like we have to
You
grab the key, make it, and then use it.
Metro.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So as always, ls. So if we go to the instructions here, 17 to 18, there are two files in the home directory: password old, password new. The password is in password new, but if we cat password new, it's all this, right? I don't want to sit here and try all of these, right? So what we can use is the diff command. So this finds what's different in the old versus the new. So it compares the two text files. So we'll do diff, we'll do password new, and then password old, and it returns us H1B.
It's the KF one, not the H1.
It is KF. So if we do new, right. So sometimes you might just have to try both. But it basically compares.
That just changes which order it's displayed in.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter which one you do first or which one you do second.
Right. All right. So we'll go ahead and so now we have it. We compared it, and we found that that is the password we need. And I can't remember if we did we connect through or did we exit all the way out?
Just exit.
I think we exit. Yeah. See, some of these.
You can always
For the
just
sake of
exit
time,
and
I
get
just
the
don't.
password for the current level.
Yeah. All right. So. Oh yes. So, if we try to SSH into this, it tells us
Put in the password.
a random password. Okay, so it says bye-bye, right? So it's kind of being a little snarky. And it says that it closed. So if we go to the next level, it tells us that the password for the next level is stored in the file readme in the home directory. Unfortunately, someone has modified kind of the server setting to log us out anytime we log in with SSH. So a way we can get around this is we can use, so if we do ssh-help, yeah, the same thing. Let's see.
It's not on there. We had to look it up in Google, remember?
I think we used man, right?
No, man, didn't display it on there.
So we found the actual manual for SSH, and capital T basically allows us to access it as like a text prompt instead of as an SSH. So it's really a way to get around kind of them cutting us off in SSH. So the command we used for this was SSH bandit. I'm just gonna copy this. It's getting late.
It's your usual SSH command to log into Bandit, and then you just add TAC T at the end, capital T.
It's like T for text. So
Could you use eClient?
for what?
eClient instead of SSH?
Oh no, we'll use SSH.
What is eClient? Oh.
Or S.
Right. So now it kind of lets us float around, text. I think it doesn't allow us any like access to like anything other than being able to like cat things. So if we do like ls, we have like readme, right? There's no .txt extension. It's just readme. And if we do cat readme, all right, let's try this. Yeah, we can't even tab into it. So we can tell what kind of file it is. And we can cat it. So it's a very limited access way to access like servers that block SSH. We just exit. Yeah. So there's no help. And then we're on 19.
You really suck at copy pasting.
I do.
That's not.
Yeah, I'm actually on the wrong one, right? Yeah, I'm on the wrong one.
Just say it right there.
This isn't it.
Why don't you copy it from your own?
You're on
Yeah,
19.
Oh, we did have that problem where it added the space.
Did you just copy it from the command line?
It's the same thing.
Yeah, you copied the extra space at the end.
It's because you have ls at the end of the password of the text file. No.
Oh, maybe. Oh shit.
Oh my God.
Okay, it's we're
He
done.
doesn't know how to work the keyboard.
Yeah, it's my first time. All right. All right. We did it.
What is that?
Go team. This is why we need a team, right?
So we can
Make
tell
it
Roger
happen.
about copying and pasting.
So this one's a little more complex.
You can do everything else except
Yeah.
copy paste.
Great at it.
It's just because I for some reason Control V is disabled, so I have to double tap.
It's Control Shift C, Control
Yeah.
Shift V in terminal.
Is it just now telling me this? Oh, it is. Okay. All right. So,
See, Hunter's really good at things, but he forgot how to copy and paste.
all right. So we're gonna control the user .bandit20. Or no, I'm sorry. We're gonna run the. I believe that the red highlight means user, right?
I think, yeah.
And then red text is like zip. Yeah. So we're gonna go through the user bandit20. And in there, so like we said earlier, so that Bandit likes to store passwords in etc bandit pass and then the bandit number. So we can go through that, and I believe it tells us that in the level. Yeah, so it tells us what directory it is. It says to gain the access to the next level, you should use the set UID binary. So this is so every bandit like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has a set UID, and it has basically the access to that tailored into the home directory. That's why we can access bandit 20's cat, because it's that access is allowed in the home directory. So so it said you can find the password here. So we'll go ahead and run a cat command on etc bandit pass bandit 20. Yeah. And there we go. We got the password. So what we did was we, because they allowed us access in the home directory, we used bandit 20 because we're in bandit 19, but we used our access to bandit 20 to access through bandit 20 and then cat out its password file. Because right now, if I go cat etc bandpass bandit 19, I can print out the current password that I'm using. If I try to go to 18, it says permission denied. So if I try to go to 20, it says permission denied because I'm trying to access that as user bandit 19. So yeah. So we'll access as bandit 20, and it gives us the password. Almost there. Imagine doing a hackathon. Having to see me try to get stuff pasted. You can see it. I control C.
I think we got it.
All right, we're good. All right, so do I have did we do this one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So 20 to 21 is all right. So the set UID binary. So go ahead and ls. So we have another way or user to be able to access through. So this su connect in the home directory, it does there's a SIUD binary in the home directory that does the following. Oh, so this user, it makes a connection to the local host on any port that we specify. So we could pick 001 or 115, and then it reads the text line from the connection. So we can put any text we want in there on any port we want. And then it compares it to the password of the current bandit that we're on, or bandit 20. If it's correct, it gives us the real password. So what we can do is we can echo. So we're gonna basically yell out. We're gonna yell out our password, and so we're yelling out our password. We're using pipe, and pipe is taking that yelling out and sending it to to any of the ports. So we're going to use netcat to listen on the port we want. So we're going to use netcat-VLP, and we'll go over the flags here in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so now it's listening on any IP on port 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So another part of this is that we have to open another command prompt. It's going to get a bit messy.
Leave it up. Just somewhere where we can see it.
I will.
You're good right there. Perfect.
So
Got SSH in.
I gotta try that command. But now you think I've memorized this. All right.
We would think that.
$20.
So now we have 2 terminals open in there. And we'll scroll down. Okay. So now if we ls, we see that we have that su connect. So this allows us to connect using that profile. And it's probably like a program that's pre-designed. So we'll do /su connect, and we're going to go on port 12345. So what it did is it pushed out that key we had earlier through netcat, and because it was listening, we pushed it out, and it's it's sending us back the response. So once we pushed it out, so netcat listens on that port, right? So netcat listens on port 12345. So it's listening, it's active. While we were setting up this new SSH session, it was still listening. So what I did is I used SU connect to connect over port 12345, and that returned us basically the password. So netcat was listening for it, and it captured it and gave it to us. Another day in the office.
Yeah, you messed up.
This is brutal. See, I got it.
There you go.
All right, we're in.
You
And
were
I'm done.
You were copying the password from the one that you sent to it. The right password's on the other terminal.
Okay. Oh yeah, makes sense. I think they both start with G.
They did.
All right, I'm done.
They both start with G, so they're the same, right?
Yeah.
So that was 11 through 20, or 12 through 20, 12 through 21. Do more.
More.
They look like they're about to pass out. We've lost half of our people. So initially the plan was to have everybody kind of get together in groups of 2 or 3, and figure out like 4 more levels, because they kind of require a little bit of programming. But it's kind of getting late, so I mean, I'm good. I have nothing else left for you. There's a couple announcements I'll put out in the group chat regarding like cyber events that I want everybody to go to, just updates on things. And so yeah, we're good. Cool. Thanks for coming. Hope Bandit was going nice for you. Hopefully it was treating you nice, except for level 16. But now we've kind of ran through what you need to do to get caught up, and I want to be done with Bandit by end of spring break. So if we don't get all the way through, it's okay. We're going to switch to creating enterprise systems. So we're all going to individually create our own Outlook server, Exchange server, like AD, using Microsoft authentication like Kerberos. We're all basically. No, it's all good. So
Thank you.
Right, I think we need to end the live
Yeah.
stream. It's time to end the stream.
End it.
No, pulling it the wrong way.
Quickly, I'll be.